the most venomous, contemptuous, disdainful things that I've heard here on TikTok is this. I didn't ask to be born. This is from a 40-year-old. Several of them. I did not ask to be born. I don't owe you nothing. Speaking of the parental responsibilities that they do not have. In other words, the parents were supposed to raise them. They're not supposed to owe them anything. If they walk away and never say boo, they're supposed to be okay. This is a reptilian philosophy that can destroy culture by cutting off our roots. And no, I'm not talking about abusive, extremely torturous parents. That's obvious. That should be obvious. I'm talking about the average parent who makes mistakes, who might be broken, but who does the best job they can and did the best job they could for 40 years before these words were spoken. From the diaper changing, from the birth, the rushing to the doctors, the taking to the hospital, the picking up from school, the soccer practice, the nice clothes to wear, making sure they're safe, giving them guidance, fighting with them during their teenage years to keep them on the right path and keep them safe and responsible, teaching them, giving every ounce of strength and energy, working 2 jobs, doing everything you can imagine. And along with the parental responsibilities comes the families and the family history, the grandpas and the aunts and the uncles, and all of these people who came together to make this child's life livable and respectable as an adult. Yes, some are broken. We know this. We know some people were broken and they continue to make similar mistakes. Not abusive, just broken. So therefore, the 40-year-old says, my parents are getting old. I don't have much use for them. They're going to be requiring me to pick up groceries and do all sorts of stuff. So in the back of their minds, they say, hey, I don't owe you anything. And no, it's not a ledger with a list of things that you owe, housing and this, that, and the other, money and errands. That's not an owe. It's an emotional thing. It's a matter of moral responsibility that separates us from the reptiles, even in the elephant kingdom and the wolf kingdom. These animals take care of the sick, the old, they protect, and they have some measure of attachment to them, even when they die, as in the elephant graveyard. They have more civilization than some humans in them. So to say, I don't owe you anything, while your own children may be listening to you, cataloging this toxic information so that they can say the same thing to you. I'm fine now, I don't need you anymore, I don't owe you anything. That is a terrible way to destroy society. As they said, Rome fell because of the destruction of the family. It's partially true, because the links within society starts in the family. Even if your family is broken, you can thank them for something. My mother, and yes, I'm sure you want to say you don't know, I do too. My mother had me as a broken parent when she was young in 1957. She was a mixed race parent during the worst time before the civil rights era, during the racial segregated South. I was the product of a well-known rich man in a small town. And she was nobody, basically, according to the rules of society. Therefore, I was the hot potato that caused her all sorts of suffering, so she gave me away. Do I blame her? Yes, I know. That's the responsibility of a parent, but am I angry and say, I don't owe you anything? I owe you nothing? I wouldn't dare say that. Even though there's no bond. There was no strong bond between us because of that separation. Early, when I was tiny, I still had familial respect for where I came from, because without my mother and my my wayward father, I would not exist, whether they provided for me or not. I still owe my life to them. I still owe the fact that I wasn't, quote, thrown down a well, as she once said when I asked what happened. I am appalled that you could say this with such venom and everybody jumps in on the comment and say, that's right, that's right. We don't owe them any, because you will become those parents in a very short amount of time, because it seems like just yesterday. I was young, but it wasn't. Decades pass so fast it makes your head spin. And the next thing you know, your children are going to be 40. You're going to be 60 something. They're going to dump you off somewhere and forget all about you because you are useless to them. You don't babysit, you don't provide errands and money and things like that, and they don't value the wisdom and the support and the emotional and all of the history of the strife and struggle that went into the making of you. So, whether your parent was broken, abusive, negligent, or just incapable, or if they were excellent parents, they were still your parents. Show, please, some measure of respect. You can say, I can cut my parent off because they're toxic. That's a normal response. But I don't owe you anything. I didn't ask to be born. There are 8 billion people on this earth. Tell me which one was asking to be born. Nobody does that. But if you like life, you treasure what you've done in life, you had to have somebody get you there. So we have to keep our roots. Otherwise, our wings will get clipped. Thank you.